Hi Pisces, welcome to your June 2020 Astro Alchemy. It's Rena here. So Mars is in your sign until the 27th. Will that make you aggressive or just simply energetic? That means that Mars is in your first house. It can make you more active physically. You know, the first house can be the body, can make you more well, it could make you more pushy, but it could make you more assertive if you look at it in the positive sense. And your ruler, Neptune, goes retrograde on the 23rd. So this can make you more realistic about yourself at the same time. Who knows? With Mars there and Neptune retrograde, it could be a great time to assess your body in a realistic way. So, because when Neptune is in your first house, you may see yourself in a distorted way. And that could be like somebody who's really good looking, who sees the flaws or thinks there's flaws that don't really exist. The sun is in a fellow mutable sign of Gemini until the 20th. And for you, Pisces, Gemini is the fourth house of home and family. So this is an area that you're giving a lot of love to, and this could be, a lot of attention to your home. Maybe you're spending more time there instead of, well, hello, join the club, right? But there might be other reasons why this is the case. Venus is retrograde here until the 25th, so you could be like redecorating or even, negotiating some kind of a sale of a home, or I don't know if, I think Mercury retrograde, which is occurring this month, is more about negotiations or renegotiations. So Venus here could be money that if you put money down for a house and you thought you lost it and you find out, no, you didn't, in escrow or what have you. But something to do with buying a home. Maybe this was a home that you thought was off the market, that you wanted to buy in the past, and something happened, they changed their mind, and now you finally are able to buy it. Who knows? But Venus can bring money, and the fourth house can be, real estate matters. And anything connected with your mother and money, and also evaluating things. Maybe you need to downsize and not get a bigger place. And you're kind of thinking about these kinds of matters. So Venus goes direct on the 25th, and perhaps something starts to be resolved in this area. If you're, they say don't, do anything that has to do with beautifying. Usually they're talking about the individual, but it can also be, of course, related to the house that it's in. So this would be in your house of real estate. That's something you think that you like the color scheme, and then you find out that you don't. That's first world problems, isn't it? It's not really a big deal. And I was just watching another astrologer talking about these kinds of issues and really stating that it's not that big of a deal when Venus goes retrograde, and also talking about Jupiter, the benefics, which I always suspected as well. I actually think not only might it not be something bad, but it could actually be something good. So something you thought you had missed out on that you get to do. And that may have like a financial gain attached to it. On the 5th, we have, this is the real deal, big deal. We have 2 eclipses in June, and we have also one in July. I was about to say oof, but really I don't think it's bad at all. I'm like, bring it on. Bring on change. Change is good for the soul. And it can get rid of the stagnation that has developed in certain areas of our life. Now, this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, 15 degrees, by the way, on June 5th, but maybe felt in May, maybe felt in July, August, or September, or even beyond that, who knows, will fall again. This is going to be, this is a fellow mutable sign. So if you're born in the first 15 days of the month, this will fall in your career sector. If you're born in the from 16 to 29 degrees of Pisces, this will fall in your 9th house, the house before it. But if it falls in your 10th house in the career sector, this could be a major advancement for you career-wise. And it's almost like leapfrogging. You might have aspired to something greater and, got even higher than you dreamed of. The 10th house is at the top of the chart. It's your place in the world, Pisces. So your reputation, if you're in show business, will you become famous all of a sudden? You know how they say overnight success and the person's been hard at work for 5 years? Sometimes it's just divine timing, They were meant to go through a lot of challenges so that once they make it, they've already had a lot of experience under their belt and that kind of thing. Some people just dream about something just happening really easy. And I know in Law of Attraction, they talk about you don't have to go uphill and all of that stuff. But I still maintain that sometimes it's better not to have that early success because you might not be ready for it. And so it might be premature. There might be two schools of thought that say, well, everything happens as it's supposed to. So we can look at both of these. But in any case, that can be a very good boost to your career. If you're somebody who is of retirement age or even thinking about changing your profession, you may have been hanging on because out of like sentimentality or just fear, or just force of habit. And the lunar eclipses something out of your life professionally that allows you to let go much more gracefully. And it doesn't necessarily mean, you're going to lose your job or anything like that. But you may have a realization. This can be this is a full moon, but it's a very powerful one. You can have like that spiritual download that really brings home to you what is going on. You may be in a profession that you don't like the direction it's going in. It's changed quite a bit since you started. And you keep complaining about it. You keep thinking about it, that you don't like what has changed. An example is the teaching profession, because that's what I studied. I never did become a elementary school teacher, for instance. I never did become that. But my dream of what I was looking for, I could see was not going to become a reality because of the nature of how everything was set up. That I wasn't going to be able to replicate what I experienced in my own elementary school years, and having, wonderful teachers and wonderful environments, learning environments growing up, and feeling very blessed. I feel very blessed about that, about my elementary school experience. Not every child gets to have that. I've worked in elementary school. It's different now. And there might be some areas where it's much more in alignment with what I experienced, but there are different mandates and things that make it very difficult to do things how we used to do them. And so these kinds of realizations can lead the person to let it go, because it's a lot of times, the person may have invested money and energy into achieving a certain career goal, and it's not easy to let it go, even if it's something that the person knows is kind of like a dead end for them. So the universe can help to nudge you along. For those of you who have this lunar eclipse in the 9th house, this can be even more of a philosophical realization about your relationship to God, about your relationship to life itself, the direction you're going in. This could have something to do with a trip. Maybe you canceled a trip that was long distance, and now you are gaining another opportunity, or you've decided to cancel a trip, or it's been canceled for you so you don't have to agonize over that. But remember that the universe has your back. It's working for you, whatever this is. On the 18th, okay, let me keep reminding myself that we have a Mercury retrograde, and this is at 14 degrees of Cancer. So similar to the lunar eclipse, I can separate it out and say that for those Pisces who are up to 14 degrees of Cancer, you're going to have this in the 5th house of romance. So you may hear from an ex-lover, and this can even be rethinking the business that you own, rethinking having children, if that's something that had been on your mind or you were planning on. If you're above 14 degrees of Cancer, this is going to fall in your 4th house of home and family, and this could be some kind of misunderstanding with your mom, some kind of real estate contract or something that isn't quite right. And remember that Mercury has a very quick transit, so don't fret that, oh my God, now Mercury's retrograde, all these planets are retrograde. Venus is going direct on the 25th, and Mercury's going direct, I think, on like July 12th. So that's, just a few weeks. It's no big deal. On the 21st, we have a solar eclipse at 0 degrees of Cancer. Now, because it's at 0 degrees, just about all Pisces will have this in your 4th house of home and family. Only if you're born at that 0 degrees, so that would be very few Pisces. And you would have to check your chart. It will not be the same each year. It depends on when the sun enters Pisces that year. So you have to check that out officially. But this, for the 4th house, could mean moving house, or having a lot of opportunities with different properties. And so that can feel very good, because perhaps there was something that fell through and you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be the end of it, and it's not. So if you believe that the universe is conspiring on your behalf, then you will be able to take advantage of this. It is coming on the heels of the solstice, very powerful period, those 2 days, the 20th and 21st. And I spoke about the Neptune retrograde in your sign. This could be also the way that you carry yourself. You may realize that you have to take responsibility for some of the ways that people treat you or view you, if you feel like people misunderstand you. And sometimes, for instance, if you have Pisces rising and your sun is, let's say your sun is in Aries, something that's bold, like Aries or Leo, something like that, you may feel like frustrated that people disrespect you or don't treat you like a powerhouse. And it could be because they sense this, I wouldn't call it a lost quality, but this kind of very sensitive soul. and maybe even a self-protective type of an individual. And sometimes people, especially bullies, hone in on that and they go for the jugular because I would say one reason is because they are cowards, certain people, and they know who is not going to fight back. And for instance, if you're it doesn't have to be a female Pisces rising. It could be male or female. If you feel like you are a magnet for narcissists, for instance, malignant narcissists, but even the covert narcs who are very into their sob stories, that could be also a magnet for you where you want to save people. But especially those malignant narcs who really size people up, and that's one thing that they're really good at. I wouldn't be surprised if narcissists are also very empathic. No, they're actually supposed to be very, insensitive and devoid of feelings, but I do feel that some of them have some psychic abilities because they tend to reappear when you've gotten your life together. That's when they come back, when they sense that you have kind of distanced yourself from them psychically. And so they must have some kind of ESP or something. So being able to see yourself and not kind of blaming others for their perceptions of you, but saying, how do I project my energy to others, especially when I'm first meeting them? And if you're looking for a job, for instance, you want to make a good impression, and you know that you wear your heart on your sleeve or something like that. So you have to kind of like look at this, and you'll get a more realistic view of yourself when Neptune is retrograde starting on the 23rd, and then Venus goes direct on the 25th. So again, that will be your 4th house of home and family. So I hope that you enjoyed this and resonated with it, Pisces. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. Thank you for listening, and take care. Bye.